Body get got it. Body we got it. My bit is a body. Your bit is a body. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Killed all those bodies. I tried Maserati. Body get got it. Hey. Yeah. Enjoy the outro. Enjoy the song. Body get got it. Hope you like the album. First of many to come. More singles on the way. Christmas music is on the way. For now, enjoy Sleepy Time 1. Until Christmas music. See you then. Catch you on the next one.
You're eating. Hey, who likes my profile picture?
I do not. I do not want to disclaim anything.
Bo, shut up.
Disclaimer for the other 3 people, but not for me, because I do not give a shit.
Alright, cool.
Confirm.
Contrary to popular belief.
Yeah. So you couldn't hear me at first because I had my mic muted because I'm dumb. But anyway, our disclaimer is that we're not going after anyone. We're not bullying anyone. We're not harassing anyone. Like we're just we're making a conspiracy and talking about it. We don't like. It's just I don't know. People are twisting it and saying that we're like going after them or bullying them or whatever. And okay, you can say that. Yeah, you can say that all you want, but that doesn't mean we're doing it by any means. Screenshot it all you want.
Yes.
You know.
Yep. Tell Mr. Roy. Tell anybody you want. All you want. We have this thing in America, okay? I know all these socialist liberal yahoos want to tell you that this doesn't exist. There's this thing called the Constitution, and there's this really interesting part in the Constitution. It's one of the very first things you read. It's called the Bill of Rights, okay? And in that Bill of Rights, it gives us the freedom of speech. We can talk about whoever we want, however much we want, okay? It's just facts. And you can't take that away. No matter how much you try, no matter how much shit you screenshot, you can't take that away.
Okay, but
it's called the First Amendment. First Amendment. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but anyway, we have Ethan here with us today. We also have Corey, and I think Joey might be rolling in sometime. later. We'll have to see. He said he wanted to be on the podcast. But anyway, he's got some stuff to talk about. Joey does. But we're going to start from the beginning here. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce the topic here, and we'll let Ethan talk about it. So, Ethan, when did they like announce the student body president? Like, what made you decide that you wanted to run?
Well, it all started in 8th grade when I ran for the freshman class president. I made the best posters, did everything right. I still lost. Then I wait 3 years. I don't really care about anything. Then I'm the advisory rep for all those years. Then they announced it. They announced the campaigns for student body president and stuff start. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. That'll be cool.
Yeah. So some people are saying that you didn't actually want the position and it's not a big deal, and we're making a big deal out of it. And we'll get into the reason we're making a big deal out of it to begin. But anyway, Ethan ended up running, went through his stuff, had a great speech, which actually I'm gonna bring up on Instagram here in 1 second. But I'm gonna let Ethan go ahead and tell what happened after that while I pull this up.
Well, basically, I told my speech. Everyone was cheering and stuff. It was honestly probably the best speech ever raised at school. I'm not lying. But I gave my speech and everyone was cheering. Then I get off stage. I'm pretty much sure that almost 80% of people voted for me.
What makes you sure of that?
Just the crowd, everyone was cheering. And but I don't want to talk trash or anything, but the other speeches, didn't even come close.
I would agree with that. What do you think made your speech special?
Well, it was funny. That's pretty much it.
That's true.
It was funny. It was edgy. It's what we needed.
Yes.
It related to the school of Buchanan.
Yes.
The student body. That's what it's about.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Instagram, or I'm gonna pull Ethan's speech up on Instagram here. Let me. All right, so let's go ahead and watch this real quick, and so you guys can see. I'm sure you've already seen it already. I know you've heard it, but we'll watch it again.
Ethan! Yeah!
Shout out to Ethan's Instagram there. Get Caitlin in here. Try, bro. Try.
Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher, and me, Ethan Cutright. What do all these people have in common? That's right, they're great leaders. We're living in dark times, rampant with corruption, genocide, slavery, and other humanitarian atrocities. Sounds true, huh? Wrong. We are actually living in the most peaceful time period in history, and that's a fact. The world used to be a lot worse, but what changed? Change. Changed. We need change. With your help, we can make change. We must shatter the glass ceiling, lower ISS rates, and help those suffering from nicotine addiction as a result of juuling. These are a few of the problems.
Ethan!
Alright, so
Yeah!
there's the speech. Hold on. So I'm sure all of you have already seen it. I'd say it was, my opinion, it was one of the better speeches. It was the best speech given that day, for sure. Now, others may argue that he was joking, or like he wasn't taking his speech seriously and he was making jokes in it. What would you say about that, Ethan?
Well, I'd say what difference does it make as long as they vote for me, honestly.
That's a
but
valid
like,
point.
but what if that was the turning point? Like, what would you say to that if that was their turning point about it? Like if they like, were you joking in the speech?
Joking, I mean, I think people take student council way too seriously. I mean, it's high school student council. And if the student body wants to vote for the joke, let them vote for the joke. It's called student body president.
Not
That's
Caitlin
fair.
Lemon.
I'm showing. So you're saying that it's all about what the people want.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting concept.
So, anyway, let's get into the good stuff. The real rundown of why we're actually doing this and why we're kind of relaunching the podcast is because Ethan runs, does his speech, all that. We have our votes. He definitely got a good applause, better than I'd say anyone. His speech did really well. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people said it was the best speech. So that alone was enough to be like, well, he's probably got a good chance at this. Moving on, the rumors start speculating that Ethan won, and people have seen the other candidate crying, and you know, I mean, the obvious assumption would be, well, Ethan won. So, we go through that. Not necessarily 100% yet that he won. I mean, it could have been crying over something else. Who knows? But that was the assumption. So we go on.
Maybe the other candidate's dog died, and that's why she was crying.
That's true. Moving later on into the evening, multiple people have been told by a reliable name that we're going to keep anonymous, out of respect for him, but it's reliable, and have been told by him that Ethan had won the votes. He had more votes, and so another name as well that I'm also going to keep anonymous, but as well reliable, said that the votes, they had completely finished counting all the votes that day. So it's like, okay, it's confirmed. Ethan won. We go on into the next day, and Ethan, I want you to tell what happened when you got to school the next day.
Well, the next morning, everyone was like congratulating me and stuff. They're like, "Yeah, I think you won, dude." And then I go into class, and I have Mr. Plymouth, so he told me to go down to the office and get some papers from the copier. Then I'm walking back to his class with the copies. I walk past. Did I say the teacher's name or what? I'm not sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm walking past Miss Walmsley's room, and then Mr. Wilson and her are in there. They bring me in there, and they're like, this race was very close, Ethan. I was like, okay. And they're like, you actually lost, but we really want you to run for for the senior class president. And I was like, no, I don't really care. Then I went back to class, and I was like, they told me not to tell anyone that I lost until after the announcement was made during like second period.
Mm-hmm.
But I told people, I was like, I lost. How'd that happen?
Yeah, because everyone right now is under the assumption that he had won from the reliable sources that we've heard that from. So it was like, well, what happened? anyway, they make the announcement thing. The other candidate had won, and I'm really quiet. Hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at chat. Apparently I'm quiet. Let me add a gain to my voice.
Patrick, just speak louder.
I am. I'm close to my mic too.
Oh.
Just put it inside your mouth.
Yeah. I will. All right, that should be better. But anyway, we move on. They make the announcement, and it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, everyone's like, okay, what happened? From there, a lot of people start posting on their Snapchat story, saying stuff like, "Not my president," "Ethan for president." Nothing directly bullying, mind you. Not going out after anyone. Not making fun of anyone. Just saying, "Ethan for president, not my president." Which, that part alone is obviously a joke, because that was a thing after the 2016 election. And there's humor in it, right? So, anyway, we move on, and we start hearing rumors of things that, things that have happened that twisted the results for the other candidate to win. And this is also where Joey should probably come in and talk, but I think he's busy. He's busy, yeah. Don't say it. But anyway, I'll let Corey tell what happened with that.
All right, which part? Do you want me to tell Joey's part too?
No, he can tell his own part. Tell what happened with, like, skewed votes and all that, and
All right. So basically, what I've heard from people, some of them had been counting, and Ethan had originally won by 10 votes, right? But apparently, they found 40 extra votes, 30 with Caitlin's name, and 10 with Ethan's.
Those are very round numbers.
Where did they find these votes?
From what I've heard, they have found these votes like inside the school store, inside Buccaneer Zone.
Now, there's two major problems with this. The first one being, who goes and puts 40 votes, exactly 40 votes, in the school store? Why? Well, actually, there's three problems with this. The second, the school store was locked. So no one could have gotten in there. The third thing is that they announced that when you left the auditorium, your vote was invalid. You had to turn it in as you left, or else it was invalid. So there's the three major problems with that. Then we start getting into the problem that there's different stories going around. I'll go ahead and let I think Corey knows all the different stories. I've gotten some on my phone here in my notes. Let me pull them up. I'll let Corey talk about it for a second, and then I'll intervene. Oh my.
Wait, before we get into anything, Ethan, what are you doing?
Why?
That's
I'm just chilling here.
It's very loud, Ethan.
Oh, let me shut my window. There was a car going by.
All right, Corey, go ahead.
All right. So wait, what am I talking about here? Just
Go over some of the most credible theories.
Ethan, are you good? Okay.
Okay, he muted himself, so go
So
ahead,
Corey, go ahead.
all right. The most critical what, Bo? I didn't hear it.
I said go ahead, tell some conspiracy theories. The credible one. Nothing too far-fetched. We're trying to be factual here.
All right, like I was saying, with like the 40 extra votes they found 30 Caitlin's, 10 Ethan's, right?
Yes.
But those are two like clean numbers to like just have found random like that amount of votes, right?
That's what I said when I first heard that as well.
Yeah, and some people may bring up the point like, oh, if they just wanted Caitlyn to win, they would just put all 40 with Caitlyn's name. But however, what I think is like they know that would be too suspicious, correct? So they
Yeah.
had
Oh,
to
yeah.
put like a certain amount in to keep the race close, but to also like have Caitlyn as the victor. You know?
Yeah.
So, okay. Another thing too is you said Ethan was originally ahead by 10 votes too. The story or somewhere through the line changed that he was ahead by 20 as well. So, like, it's just there's too many things wrong with this, and they question why we're questioning them.
Everything just goes silent, or is it just me?
That's just you. All right, Ethan's having some difficulties, but anyway, it's just it doesn't add up, and they're getting mad that we're questioning it too.
I can't hear
Which-
Patrick at all.
Oh man. Okay, well I think Ethan's having some problems. But it just doesn't add up. So we go on, and there's just so many stories spiraling around. And like another thing too is why would the people we originally talked to about the votes lie about it and let it go on for that long? Like there. Another thing too is the next day, we talked to him about it, and it was like, what's the deal? Like, what happened? Like, we didn't finish voting, or we didn't finish counting. The other candidate won, and it was like it just didn't seem to add up. Even though they were like, why would they say the day before who the winner was if they weren't done counting? Like that, it's just something's wrong there.
Yeah. It's not how you would properly run an election by any means. I mean, best case scenario in favor of the other candidate and the school, it was just very poorly run and very poorly organized, which I find very hard to believe considering how many years they've had to have been doing this. They know how to count ballots. Who doesn't know how to count? They had to count, what, at most 1,000 ballots, or like 5 of them. That's not a complicated task. So the fact that they just claim that they didn't get to them all until the next day, after already declaring that they'd counted them all, is unprofessional to say the least.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. There's a lot of biases that go with this too, because some said people have some relations with the candidate running. And they were also heavily involved
Also,
in counting the votes.
very, very unprofessional.
Yeah. So, like, it just doesn't seem right. It just, like, I don't know. Ethan, what do you have to say about this?
Well, there's a lot of convincing evidence that it was rigged, because it seemed to just flip overnight. Because when the opposing candidate went back to fourth period, she had it with her boyfriend, and she was crying and stuff, and he was consoling her. But I've got friends in there that saw this firsthand. They said that it happened, and it was Mr. Kimball's class, and basically Mr. Kimball himself, he was like, well, guys, the person who won may not have been the best candidate, but it's democracy for you.
Yeah, so
And
it just seemed to be like wrapped up and finished the day before, And then out of nowhere, the next day we come in like nothing happened. Oh yeah, the other candidate's the winner instead of Ethan. So, like, it just, I don't know. Now we're dealing with.
It's impossible to say for sure.
Yeah. Now the next part is that they're trying to flip it on us for questioning it. Probably gonna go show them this podcast, screenshotting all our conversations, our stories, everyone that mentioned it on their story. And I'd say that they're probably gonna go try to turn it in or something, but like
including mine.
Yeah,
which is
well,
which makes
Well, I
no
mean,
sense.
this is just open conversation. Like,
exactly.
if they say we can't talk about it, that what kind of government is that?
Remember what I said earlier? Freedom of speech.
And right to peaceful protest.
Exactly.
That is true.
And I feel like that opens up a whole new debate in a way. Like how much censorship should be allowed in schools.
Exactly. And
So, I mean, obviously,
where does it say that we can't question the election results for student body? Now, obviously,
if
it's not
they
a big
want-
deal, but it's at the same time, it's still like really sketchy, and it doesn't seem right that basically what we think happened is they added in more votes for the other candidate, skewed it, and just said, "Oh, we weren't finished voting." That's what we think. I don't know if Joey's gonna end up coming.
He said he's at a birthday party.
Oh, but he said that he saw them voiding a bunch of votes and stuff like that, and just messing with stuff. It just seemed really sketchy, and I don't know, like they're trying to come after us now for questioning, which I don't think is right. Now, are they actually going to do anything? I guess we'll see Monday.
They'll go down trying.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Now, the thing about the situation, is that a lot of people are taking this way too seriously. If they want to be taken seriously, they want to be treated like an actual government body. And government bodies should be and are subject to question at any given time. And the way that they're running it at this current state right now, by trying to censor everybody, by possibly voiding votes to make one candidate win over another
Well, I
candidate.
think they just added votes. I think they voided some rightfully because there
were a lot of stupid write-ins.
Yeah, just
I
stupid
saw that on
write-ins or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
if they definitely could have added in a lot of extra votes. I mean, what was stopping them from just making, because of all of the extra ones that were voided, they could have just added in extra ones with Caitlin's name on it, and
the numbers would have added up.
yeah, and they would have just been the same number. So it just, nothing here adds up. And Ethan was offered to go count the votes, and that's their argument is, well, if it was rigged, then he should have went and counted the votes. But after it was all said and done, and they actually added in the extra votes, what would it have mattered if he counted it?
That goes back to professionalism. A candidate should never be allowed anywhere near the ballots. Anywhere near, especially not counting. That just doesn't make sense.
And it's also like weird that Caitlin got the opportunity first, you know?
Exactly.
Also, Caitlin was also offered to count the votes.
And another person brings up a good point. Isn't it called student body? Why are the teachers giving their input about it? That's the thing. When they announced it, Mr. Wilson, who's in charge of doing it, was like, I don't have the video, I haven't seen it, but people have said that there's a video of him screaming yes when they announced who won. Now, like, doesn't that seem a little biased considering he's the one that's like in charge of it all too? I mean, he was in charge of helping with it, count it, all that. Like, that's sketchy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just not right. It wasn't conducted fair. It wasn't conducted professionally.
Joey's here.
Welcome, Joseph.
Was that bad?
Hello?
Hello. Joey, will you will you tell us what your experience with this was?
Oh, shit. Alright, so I get out of class, go to the vending machines, 4th block after they do voting, and and me hitting Dawson, we walk by, and they're...
You cut out.
And,
Patrick, make him louder.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Alright, so me, Dawson, and Logan, we leave Mr. State's room, which is right next to Mr. Wilson's, and the student council is counting the votes outside of Mr. Wilson's room, and they, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Alright, because I'm in like a bad service area, so I don't know what I'm going to cut out.
Alright.
But the student council is counting the votes. Evan's there. I'm pretty sure Caitlin was there for some point in time. But I don't
She was
remember.
there?
I thought I saw her there, but I might not have.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Who all
they're
was
counting
there?
the votes.
Who all was there counting?
It was Evan, Taylor, Hannah. I think that was it.
Okay.
And like I said, I might have seen Caitlin. I might not have.
Yeah.
But they're counting the votes, and some of the votes, like they had a bunch of them that had void written on them, and they were voiding the votes out. They had like a stack of them, and some of them were people writing in my name, or they didn't vote for one of the boxes. And as far as I'm concerned, it's never mentioned in the voting process, and it's not written in any small text that if you don't vote for every box, or if you do a write-in, your vote will be invalid.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they don't have it written anywhere on the little voting cards that your vote's invalid if you write in somebody else, or if you don't check a box or whatever, or if you check both boxes, etc.
Yeah. Do you think it was rigged, Joey?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like too undeniable. And the fact that they're like coming after us about it all is like, I don't know. It just seems like they're trying to get us to shut up about it.
Exactly. Because think, Ethan had like just an amazing speech compared to Kaylin, and Kaylin, she just had a lackluster speech, whatever. It was just, I've been doing this since my freshman year. I've always wanted to be student body president, etc. When Ethan actually had a well thought out, nice speech. And then, Ethan was also the underdog. People are going to favor the underdog more, just like my little election with what's his name?
Carter.
And they always favor the underdog. Just for the banter, just for the meme. Well, they did that. They were going to do that with Ethan as well, but Ethan actually put it.
How did Drake get in this Discord?
Oh god.
Anyway, disregard that. But yeah, like I don't know. It's just I don't think they're going to do anything about it either. Like we talked about doing like a petition to have a revote and seeing how many people we could get to sign it and how or whatever. I mean, I don't think they'll go back on it though. Like
petitions have never worked in this type of thing, especially at this school.
Okay, so yes, the vote was accounted for, and only the votes that were considered void were the ones that didn't have either Caitlin or Ethan marked. Okay. So, Evan, do you care if we ask you questions, or like, is that all right? He's in the chat now, so I figured it'll be a good way to solve some issues, maybe, because no one, Caitlin, Autumn, or Jessica, all the people that like were really for her and stuff like that, wouldn't come on the podcast, so we didn't really have anyone to like talk to it about. So, or any way to like try to solve this. What's that, Joey?
I haven't been able to hear you for like 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Connection. But so they all refused to be on the podcast?
Yeah, they wouldn't come on.
Yeah, Autumn was all bent out of shape about it.
Yeah, she was really mad at me.
I threw a comment out towards her, and well, she Snapchatted me and told me I was stupid, and then I said, you're just mad that Ethan won, and just to give her some banter. And she said, "You can't make me mad. I am one with Zen."
What?
Yeah, I guess she's been meditating. Good on her. She's one with Zen.
Yeah. Evan still hasn't responded yet. I don't know. If
I think he just came to say that and then left.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, did Autumn join? Or Evan?
Yeah, Evan joins the chat, but he just said, all he said was, yes, the votes were accounted for, and the only votes that weren't considered void were the ones that didn't have either Caitlin or Ethan marked.
No, there's other ones that they voided out. I looked. There's a nice stack of ones that were voided.
Okay.
Now, is it true that they found votes?
Yeah. Evan, will you address that, like, finding votes? Because there's been people that said that the voting, they finished counting, that day.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey,
who was-
James.
Oh, I thought that was Drake.
Oh, no.
I just banned him.
Unban him and I'll invite him again.
No, hold up. But,
He said he had a good point to make.
okay, can you say it in chat? Because I don't feel like I'm banning him right now. But, I don't know. I'd like to get Evan in the Discord. If he's still...
I just heard rumors of them finding votes, and that just sounds like complete BS, especially the circumstances of them finding the votes and the fact that rumor has it that they found it in the Buccaneer Zone storeroom.
Yeah.
What,
Like
is it
40
I heard
votes
that-
while
yeah.
it was locked. And the fact was too that it was supposed to be invalid when you left the auditorium. So I'm gonna try to get Evan on.
The ice cream. What you want, ice cream?
Reinvite Drake? Why? I don't think that was even Drake that joined, but
Yeah, that was my friend James.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the first person that joined that,
I think that might have been.
I'm not gonna say it because I'll get banned, but
You'll get banned for
dude, Drake, I'm pretty sure it's Drake joined with and the N-word in his name. I'm not gonna, dude, he'll get us banned or get us in like more.
what, from YouTube?
Yeah, and he'll probably get us a extra trip to Mr. Roy's office.
You'll get demonetized. Oh no.
So
Okay, James is coming to make his point.
alright. But anyway, that's pretty much the rundown of it. So basically, Ethan ended up running. He Okay.
Days before you ban me, I just have
Okay.
one point to make.
All right, go ahead.
So I was listening. I was tuned into the podcast, and I was listening. And I just have one question that may or may not have affected the outcome of the election.
What's that?
Does girl have big booby? Big boobies? Big boob.
Boy, isn't it?
So we got some funny guys in the Discord.
Well, see, they're probably gonna like bring this to the principals, so I'm not.
Would you have sex with her?
I'm not gonna respond.
Okay, Gannon, take him out. I do not condone that, by the way.
Yeah.
None of us condone that.
Who's that talking about?
Yeah, who was that?
That was this kid James who rides my bus and used to be in my art class.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not very funny.
Oh,
Gotta
here we
be
go.
honest.
Why is she still a mod?
I don't know. I think I just accidentally. Hold on. Okay. So, Joey, she says, "You snapped me, sir."
Huh?
Autumn says, "You snapped me, sir."
With a little winky
No, I
face.
didn't. I never snap Autumn. Autumn snapped me.
That sounds about right.
Autumn snaps me once a night, and I always ignore her.
Nice.
Autumn, do you want to come in the Discord and talk about the situation, or do you want to just talk in chat? I'll give her a second to answer.
She said BS.
I have to say, I am on.
Okay, she says she's babysitting and she'll talk in chat. So, Autumn, have you been tuned in this whole podcast? Like, have you heard our what we think happened?
Oh, this is mine.
It's a little bit of a delay, so this is gonna be like a awkward
Yeah,
silence
I
I
for
can't
like.
read
Wow.
chat. I'm driving right now, so you
All
guys
right,
have to.
you're good. Okay, no, you don't know what we think happened. So, well, we did a rundown, but we think they added votes for Caitlyn, then had them come count it. That's what we think happened. How can you convince us that that's not what happened?
If you can.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is about the whole voting system is we are not it's not on us, or it's not our burden to believe that there's a sanctity behind the voting, or all the voting is valid. It's your job to prove that everything is valid. We're not supposed to automatically believe that, this is true. If there's ever like voter fraud, anything like that, you gotta prove that there was no voter fraud.
Yeah, and the
So
fact
if you're not keeping record of things, or you're not, or all votes aren't accounted, or where they, these votes came from here, these votes came from there, there's no way you can see if the votes are valid. Like, we'll think, how many voting cards were printed off? I bet you don't have any record of how many were printed off, how many students were missing, etc. I could probably say that there were more cards printed off than there were students there.
That's true. Because you can't account for people who like skip or are sick or in ISS. Because I'm assuming the kids in ISS probably didn't get to vote. I don't know. I've never been in ISS during an election.
Constitutional violation.
That's true. That's true.
Are people in jail allowed to vote?
No. They can run for president though.
Wait, are you saying people in jail can't have guns either? I'm going to the Supreme Court about this.
But anyway, back to what Joey was saying too about like you proving it to us. Like another reason we're speculating it is because there's so much like bias too involved. Like everyone in student council was for Caitlin. So like I don't know. It's just
And I'm not gonna question Evan's integrity, but he was on the vote counting squad or whatever, the committee for counting votes, because they do assign a committee, and he is Caitlin's boyfriend. There might be a conflict of interest there.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's at minimum, it's just extremely unprofessionally handled. I'm not saying it was rigged. I'm not saying they like fake votes or anything. I'm just saying it was very unprofessional.
Autumn says
Now, I came on here because I saw what I saw. I saw them voiding votes, and there's nowhere written on any of the voter cards that your vote will be invalid if you do this or you don't do this. So that's a big issue in my eyes.
we counted the votes on bias. They're simply numbers. We counted the votes we were given, says Taylor Sisk. And that's what we're questioning. Like you can say that, but like
Who gave you the votes?
Yeah. Exactly.
And did the votes go
and
directly from the auditorium to where they were being counted?
And Taylor, when did they finish voting? When was it finished?
How can you prove that it was not skewed, Autumn?
Wait, Autumn wasn't even there. Why is she
I
telling
don't
us
know.
that it wasn't skewed?
I don't know.
So that just makes her entire argument invalid, because that just shows an obvious bias. She wasn't there. She didn't witness anything. She didn't count any votes. So how is she able to claim that everything was valid, everything was, nothing, no dirty things happened?
Well, it says there that Mr. Wilson gave them the tickets.
Okay.
He was there when Mr. Wilson gave the tickets?
Yeah, but Taylor, when did you guys finish counting votes? That's another thing too. Ethan wondered there'd be no conspiracy because his speech had more uproar and applause, along with proof of a majority of vote going to Ethan. Yeah, like he was the underdog too, and it was just like, I mean, sure there would have been some speculation, but there wouldn't be as much speculation either, I don't think, if they had said the day before that, oh, Caitlin had won. It was close. She barely won.
I was just about to bring that up.
Because, like, it's like, well, I mean, I knew it would be close. Obviously. Honestly, I didn't even think Ethan would really win. I thought it'd be close, but I didn't think he'd pull it off. But when they started saying, oh, yeah, Ethan had won, then the next day they come back and say Caitlin had won. It's like, okay, what's going on here? And Taylor says, I'm driving. I will be back later. So that kind of just leaves us off after me asking when they finished the votes. No response. Yeah.
So, yeah. Nobody knows. Just like we said at the
The
beginning.
rumors are that, like, there's some people that were in student council. I'm not going to name them, but, like, I'm not sure if they left early during voting or something, but they said that I was ahead. And then I've asked other people about it that are in student council, but, like, lesser positions. I asked him what he thought about it. He's like, I better not say.
Well, I don't see why the Caitlin was crying and all upset. Why Caitlin was crying and why she was all upset if she knew she was.
If she won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who
And
cries when they win?
You can't argue tears of joy because it was going on for a while, I'd assume.
Yeah.
I mean, even the next day, she didn't look happy until, like, because I went to Mr. Kimball's room. I went to Mr. Kimball's room to turn in something on Friday morning, And when I was leaving, he went up to her and he's like, "Caitlin, is everything all right?" I didn't hear anything after that, but he just looked at her and was like, "It'll be fine." She was like visibly upset even the next day. So this is Lexi. I'm typing for Taylor. She will be back to answer your questions in a bit. Okay. Can you ask her when they finished voting? Because that's the part we need to know.
All these people are in my stats class, so it's gonna be awkward on Wednesday, I guess.
Not if you're an ISS.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's a fair
Why
point.
would you be an ISS?
Dude, they're screenshotting all our stuff and they're trying to like, get us. I don't know.
Undoubtedly, they're gonna try to do something about it.
Yeah,
What's wrong with what you've been doing?
I don't know, but
That's exactly
like
what I've been saying
Autumn
this entire
screenshotted
time.
all my conversations, and like Caitlin, Autumn, Jessica screenshotted all my
I'm surprised like a little baby over everything, so I'm not too concerned.
They all screenshotted like all our stories. I'm pretty sure. And they're like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm not gonna stop with this. Like, you know, you're gonna get punished. Blah blah blah." Like, I mean, I'm not very concerned about it. We haven't done anything wrong. We're just discussing it.
If nobody had like said anything, screenshotted anything, this would have all blown over in a week and nobody cared.
Yeah, Corey actually had one of his posts get
Oh,
direct hate.
Oh, okay.
Would
Stop,
you like to
stop,
talk
stop.
about that, Corey?
Okay, stop. We finished counting Thursday, and Mr. Wilson gave us additional ballots he found Friday morning to count. Now,
Okay,
how suspicious
No,
does that sound?
that is not right.
How did Mr. Wilson find out?
He said that he told everyone in student council that once the ballot has left the gym, it's invalid.
Auditorium.
so
Yeah, the auditorium.
essentially, it's looking like Mr. Wilson was behind all of it. He was the criminal master.
So the votes, they were done Thursday. Ethan had won Thursday, and come back Friday, he had quote unquote found more votes that somehow
Outside of the auditorium.
Yeah, that had put Caitlin into the lead, and they were exact votes too. From what I've heard, they were like it was like 30 and 10, 30 for Caitlin, 10 for Ethan. That's the part that doesn't add up. I can only vouch for the information I was provided. I respect it. I mean, yeah, I think Mr. Wilson's really the one behind this, because I mean, I don't even like, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Where did he say where he found them?
Yeah, Logan Lee said there was a box of applications in the auditorium and people put their votes in there.
But still, voting was finished. Those votes should have been nullified by their own rules. Because the rules
like
were,
if you void a vote for just like marking the wrong box or like not marking a box when there's no other candidate to vote for all the other positions, then you shouldn't count the votes that are like the day after putting the wrong box.
Exactly. Like, why void those votes but not void the ones that were put in the wrong box that, you know, the next day too, when it was all done. I'm not sure where the votes came from, but I know that the Fred Eberly kids were provided a ballot. Those ballots may have been from Fred Eberly. I'm not quite sure.
Kids actually voted like earlier. I'm not sure when. I forget when it was, but I just know it was earlier.
Hey Patrick.
Yo.
Sam Black says for you to open your Snapchat. Kyle has some important stuff for you.
All right. Yo, I got some. I don't care. I got some text.
So
I
let's
don't
see.
care
What
about.
have we?
Wait, stop. By myself, but like I have text from someone who's close with the student body. I have evidence. Just don't want to get my friends in trouble. I have evidence he found votes. So, the texts say. All right, I'm gonna email them to myself. I'm gonna bring them up on the screen so you can read these.
Corey, earlier we talked about your Snapchat story and the backlash it received. Would you care to explain about that?
Well, basically, like, I posted on my story within like the next class period, right? I had basically received a bunch of people just telling me that's very disrespectful in that I'm not taking it seriously enough, in that I had made basically just the wrong choice with voting for you, you know?
Would you consider these to be death threats?
No. Why? They kill me for not voting for Ethan.
Would you So you were essentially just being harassed. Is that a way you'd put it?
Not really harassed in the sense, but just, you know, being disagreed with, I guess. Because it wasn't insulting in any way, except I have a few screenshots of some stuff, but it's not
Alright,
important.
Would you care to
I
would you care to share those?
got the texts. It's interesting. Now they're not 100%, but they're Corey and I talked to someone on Friday. She said that Hannah said they had a meeting that morning, and this kind of goes hand in hand with this. Let me bring that up really quick. We'll go down through this. So, don't take these texts 100%. I don't know who sent them either. I don't know if Kyle. I think he wanted to keep his name anonymous. I'll respect it. I'm assuming it's someone that has like knows about it, someone reliable, I guess. But I'm gonna keep scrolling down through here. So they're a senior out of here in a month. All right, so that's the texts. It's interesting. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how reliable they are, but it
definitely brings new pieces to the puzzle.
Like I said, I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll figure out eventually. Maybe Monday.
Doubt it.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I guess that's really all I have to say about it. Does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about?
Wait, Ethan, talk about how you were called into Mr. Roy's office about my post.
Oh yeah. Well, no, that's fair because they said you can't put stuff on the story about it.
Yeah, but there was
That's
a
not really related.
What?
Not really related, but should I still talk about it?
yeah,
I mean,
it's a
sure.
funny story.
Okay. So
He
Cool.
cut out.
Ethan, you there? All right.
yeah, okay. So basically, like, people were posting stuff about me on social media saying to vote for me, but people threatened to do it like to my face. I told them not to.
Yeah, because
But they didn't. It was
not to. It says not to.
yeah, it's in the rules not to, and like if I know about it, I'm supposed to tell them. But I told people not to post it, and they did. And then they still posted it. But by the time that I could tell them to take it down, people were already reporting it. So I get called into a meeting with Mr. Wilson and Roy and Wansley, and basically they say that if anything else happens, I'll be kicked out of the election. And I probably would have been kicked out of the election if it hadn't been for another student that posted another promotion for the other candidate. Because if that hadn't happened, I would have been kicked out probably.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
That part-
if that's the case with the whole posting thing, is it true that people could have posted things for Caitlyn over and over again and her get kicked out for it? Because she can't do
Because
anything.
it did. It did happen.
Well, they say
I
that
saw-
if you know about it and you don't report it, then you'll still get kicked out.
yeah, there's definitely a flaw in that. I mean, because like if you don't want them to win, you just post a bunch about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's pretty much the rundown of the situation. We might do a follow-up podcast when we figure everything out. If we figure everything out.
If we ever do.
I doubt we
Yep.
will.
Do you think
We're
we
gonna keep
should
this on lock.
try to do a petition to have a revote?
I mean, it's not going to go through either which way.
But yeah.
We can do it
but-
at this point.
Yeah. They wouldn't do it, but I think it'd still be kind of like interesting to see how many people would sign it.
It'd bring light to the situation.
Yeah, because when they announced it, there were a bunch of people that came up to me and they're like, "Man, that sucks that you won. Everyone I saw voted for you."
Yeah, like there's
But-
like people that had like their whole row voting for Ethan and stuff like that. I don't know. It just it's interesting. But a petition to impeach.
You can actually get that with two-thirds
Yeah.
of the school body if you can get them to sign it.
That's it.
Getting
Yeah, I
impeached.
remember that from freshman year.
Really?
Yeah, because I threatened to impeach everybody.
You tried to impeach Caden.
Yeah. Remember that, Joey? Good old days.
Those were the good old days.
And then Caden was like, "Go ahead and do it. I don't care."
And now he's a successful businessman.
Yeah, I don't even know what he does. He's like a pastor, and he has his radio show.
He was on Bill Maher that one time.
He's studying.
Yeah.
He's probably like a gay conversion therapist.
Shock knock.
All right. Well, I guess we'll do a follow-up podcast. I don't know when yet. I'll put it on my Snapchat. If we'll do one. But other than that, that's the rundown of it. That's what we think happened. Disclaimer again.
Thanks for watching.
We're not going after people. We're just trying to figure out the deal with this. We're not trying to like bully Caitlyn. That's what you're thinking.
This is not a disclaimer. I mean, wait. This is a
shut up.
disclaimer. It's not a witch hunt.
Yeah. So
That's all.
anyway, that's it for the podcast. And there's a lot of people that watch this. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
And
Make sure to subscribe.
we'll follow up later. See you guys.